December 13th, after your warm up, we're gonna activate with some low crawling and some single leg balance. So for the low crawl, I'm low. That means my knees have to stay hovering. So as I'm crawling, they remain pretty low to the ground. You can walk backwards and sideways, but it's left hand then right, right then left, and you can go slow or fast. When you're doing that, the fault would be walking your feet in too close. So the knees are either high or maybe even the hips get high. So you do want to make sure that if any moment I said red light, it should still look like you're in tabletop. So only take as much of a step with your legs as you're taking with your arms. When the legs take a bigger step, it's because you are trying not to use your core. You're going to feel it in the core and the quads. If you feel it in the knees, it's because your quads are tight. So you should spend some time stretching your quads. After that, you're going to stand on one leg and do some single leg balance. So this might be single leg balancing for you, and that might be hard. You might be able to move maybe the leg around a little bit, or maybe the upper body as well. But you can start to get very dynamic with it. Your arms can kind of do whatever they want. And I advise you to sort of bend the standing leg. If you're really struggling with your balance, you should start by bouncing. So I'm trying to get these muscles to turn on instead of like just picking up a leg and hoping that I balance. I want to make them turn on. So bouncing is nice. Bending your knee is going to protect it and also activate the glutes. So that's always good. So that's your activation. It should just take you 3 minutes. Then the actual workout, we're gonna do core, Tabata, core, Tabata, core. So in between the 3 core pieces, you're gonna stick in a Tabata. Tabata, you're gonna use your SmartWOD timer, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds rest for 8 rounds. All your core pieces are gonna be 20 reps. So after you go through the 6 moves, 20 reps each or 20 per side, then you'll just start the timer. So for the first core part, you don't need a timer. For the Tabatas, you will use your timer. So the half kneeling chop, you're gonna take a weight of some sort. I'm gonna put up a half kneel, so my right leg is up. So that means I'm gonna take that weight across my body, show you this way, towards my hips. So I'm going up here and down here. I refer to this as a golf swing. Not a traditional golf swing, but my arms and my back. So my hips are staying pretty steady because I've got this half kneel. My arms are straight, but as you notice, they're actually slightly bent. They're as straight as they would be for my golf swing. If you've ever played golf, when you take this arm up, it's not straight. You have your body in front of you, but it's pretty straight. You want as long of an arm as possible to swing that club to hit the ball. And so here too, especially if the weight is light, I want it as far away from my body as possible. So it's, again, slightly bending. Maybe this arm's bending here and this arm's bending at the top, but it's pretty straight. I'm going up overhead and down to my hip. The other thing that is happening is my upper body is moving. So I'm gonna go from left to right. If you just look at my upper body, it's definitely moving from side to side. It's not just my arms. Maybe if we had a band and we were going for something else, you could do that. But for this one today, you're gonna allow a little bit of that movement from left to right. It does not have to be fast. There's a little bit of momentum, but I'm definitely not like whipping it around. You'll do 20 on the left, you'll switch legs, 20 on this side. It should be pretty obvious what side you should go to. This hip is open, so it's gonna come down here. I can't come down into this leg, so it's not gonna go this way. All right, if you have a band, you can also attach a band really high, arms somewhat straight, and pull it again down towards your hip. It'll get your lats a little more than it will with the dumbbell, but they're both great exercises. So 20 on the left, 20 on the right. Then I'm gonna do top throughs or sit outs, sometimes they're called. So back in that crawling position with my knees off the floor, I'm gonna take one leg underneath, so it's going underneath me. So my right leg is going across to the left. I'm gonna tap my heel and then try the other side. The other hand just naturally is not doing anything, so it comes up. And I'm tapping my heel perpendicular. So I'm sideways to you guys, and now my heel is touching towards the phone. The fault with this is to touch lower, most likely. It's not bad, but if you can keep your leg a little more perpendicular, that's gonna be better. Okay, just to show you from this side, I'm going onto the side, this hand comes up. And you can kind of move your hand where you need it for balance. If you have a little bit more, choreography in you, you might pull your arm back a little bit. But maybe it's a lot on the shoulder, and so just doing this and touching from side to side, that's enough too, all right? So you have 20 of those. So with that one, if you wanna do 1, 2, 3, and count every one, if it's challenging for you, I would say if it's not challenging, I would bump that one up so that left and right is 1, okay? Side crunch, we're definitely gonna do 20 on the left, 20 on the right. So I'm gonna be on my side, okay? And I got my elbow down as if I'm gonna lift up into side plank. I'm gonna put my hand on my head, my elbow's gonna touch my knee. So I'm gonna bring my knees up to my elbow. Straighter legs is harder, super bent is easier. So this, touching my knee down to the ground and then back to my knee would probably be the easiest. Mine usually end up somewhat straight like this. So I am pulling my chest up too, as well as pulling my legs up, all right? I'm not laying completely sideways. I'm sort of like 45 degrees or so. 1, 2, all the way to 20 on that side. I love those because they're really hard. Okay, and then reverse sit up. This one you're going to put your feet together almost like a butterfly. So laying on your back. I guess you guys can see me. Feet together. I'm gonna touch the floor and then feet are gonna go up. So hips up, feet touch. Hips up, feet touch. It's okay if your feet do a little bit like this or they go a little bit wider. It does work different parts of the core, so if you can keep your knees wide, that's great. And my feet aren't touching way down here. They're staying really close and touching the floor right here. You can rest your head on the floor. You don't have to pick up your head so your neck can rest. So 1, 2, 3, all the way to 20. Then you're gonna do an overhead press. So if you have 2 weights, this will work best. If you don't, then you're just gonna do single arm. So with 2 weights of some sort, 2 milk jugs, 2, what is it called? Detergent, if you have that. So I'm gonna put the weights overhead and then go for an overhead march from here. So instead of doing alternating overhead press, I'm gonna actually start from the top and do it here, okay? If you only have 1 weight, then you're gonna do the same thing, right? Just so you can get that hold at the top. So it becomes overhead press with a hold at the top, okay? That'll sort of resemble the handstand taps that we do. So sometimes we do handstand taps or we do handstand walks. Even if that's not something that you are remotely close to right now, it's still fun to do the scale work to get towards it. And then the last one's gonna be a loco row. So like a locomotive on a train. They're both moving opposite each other. If I just go up and down like this. So alternating would be one and then the other, but a locomotive, both are moving opposite each other. So in a staggered stance, so that's 1 foot forward, the other foot is on my toes, not way back here, just propped up behind me. I'm gonna hinge over so my hips go back, and then I'm gonna go for that locomotive row, so I'm moving opposite, okay? My chest is turning, so my chest is facing you and the chest is facing away. You're gonna do 20 on the left and then switch legs, 20 on this leg. My hip is back, so you should feel this in the glutes. With that locomotive row, you're really getting that shoulder blade to move and you're getting a little rotation in the body. I'll show you from here. So it looks like this. Like I said, even if you don't have 2 actual dumbbells, you can get like a huge jug of water, and that usually weighs a significant amount. You'd be surprised. They have those 2.5 gallon jugs at Wegmans for $3. So that would cost you $6, and they weigh 20 pounds each. So you have 40 pounds to work with for $6. That's a pretty good deal. Just don't drop them and spill water all over your floor. So those are your 6 moves. Like I said, you're gonna do 20 reps each or 20 reps each side, and then you're gonna go for your Tabata. With this one, we're gonna alternate. So you're gonna do your traditional 8 rounds of 20 seconds of work and then resting for 10. Every time you rest, you're gonna switch the move. So we're gonna go with a skater for 20 seconds. So I'm laterally hopping from side to side. My other leg comes up. It's a little bit of a hinge. There's a little jump and a little bit of distance, right? When I do this, my leg does bend. A couple faults I see when people do skaters is they jump with their legs straight. It is almost impossible to jump off of a straight leg. I don't even know how you do that. So you do have to bend right here your leg to push off to go to the other side. If you've got room in your house, as you get warmer, I would definitely try to go for some distance and challenge yourself. The other thing is you can put your foot down for balance, but try not to do this and like step and lean back on it like this. Try to stay just in that one leg, so we're getting a little more glute as opposed to just standing up. So you're gonna do skaters for 20 seconds. Like I said, once you're actually in it and you're really going for it, you're probably gonna be moving around quite a bit to try to raise the heart rate. Then you're gonna go for a skull crusher. So I'm on one leg, I'm bringing my hands and knees together. You can do a full 20 seconds on this side, then you'd go back to your skater, and then do a full 20 seconds on the other side. You can do that, or you can skull crusher for 10 seconds, and then once you hear that beep, that halfway, you can switch sides. Just so you can see from a different angle. I'm leaning forward a little bit. Most of my weight is on my standing leg. It's called a skull crusher. In MMA, technically you would push your knee into someone, but you're taking somebody's head, cracking it with your knee. That's where the name comes from. It's kind of sadistic, but it happens. Okay, so that's your Tabata. You're just gonna alternate between those two things just to break it up so you're not just doing skaters the whole time or jump squats the whole time. When you're done with that first Tabata, you're gonna go right back to the core, do everything again at 20 reps. Then you're gonna do that Tabata one last time, a second time. Then you're gonna finish with that core again. If you need more, stick another Tabata in there if you'd like. That is your workout for December 13th.